gather round, the curtains rising high. It's real talk time, and we'll tell you why. From old-time flicks to the silver screen, we've got the stories and the in-between. But out of real talk, it's the place to be for movie magic.
The detailed comment that we got was impressive, but
who is the person?
I don't know who it is.
Oh, is it
I have
anonymous?
no clue who it is.
Oh, it's like some random. It's
It's just some random person. They commented. I was like, wow, this is very
insightful.
It was a very detailed list. Like,
oh, hoorah!
They gave honorable mentions.
Can we see?
I know. It's like a detailed. They're like, oh yeah, hit rate.
Satoshi Kon, Hayao Miyazaki, Greta Gerwig, Andrei Tarkovsky. That was the guy who did Stalker.
Oh,
Andrei.
okay.
Alfonso Cuarón, yeah.
That's what I mean. Like
Kubrick.
That was a...
Denny's there. James Cameron, Akira Kurosawa, Ingmar Bergman, yeah. Joel and Ethan Coen, he got both.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a pretty impressive list that he put together. I was like, it's in terms of like tiers and stuff, you don't really get the chance to see somebody put it together like that, like minimum hit rates.
Yeah.
I think that's impressive.
I can tell that this guy is just like, give him cinema.
Yeah.
Or give him death.
Yeah.
No, hats off to him.
It's such an interesting like honorable mentions that he put like Martin Scorsese and Alfred Hitchcock in an honorable mention category, not like top tier.
Well, that's interesting. It is interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting. I don't know. I mean, like, I get Alfred Hitchcock, and I think it's in terms of relevancy.
Yeah.
That's probably why the honorable mention was there.
Yeah. Even Fincher, I would have put in like third tier. I don't know if I would have put him in like an honorable mention.
I think it's because Fincher, once again, I think it's just like relevancy to modern. Because these guys are, their heydays were the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Or you still have guys that are just absolutely destroying
it in modern day, right?
Which is true. I mean, like, Denny, like, it's just 13. I think 13 is like a fun pick. Like, that's a good metric.
Yeah, I think so.
But the hit rate thing was very cool. So shout out to, we'll give a proper shout out. I want to make sure I get like this user.
Omesh Singh, I believe.
Was it? Yeah, Omesh Singh.
Omesh Singh. Good shit.
8091.
Impressed.
We're very impressed. We're going to tag you when I put this description and stuff together for YouTube for this episode. We're very impressed by the very detailed comment, the hit rate and stuff. I'll throw a photo up as well.
Yeah.
Throw a screenshot of like your list and stuff. But yeah, we were very impressed with that. So with all the jibber jabber, let's get
jibber jabber. With all the jibber jabber, let's get to the magic.
Kick off Real Talk episode 9. We're so close to 10.
Almost.
So close to 10.
Almost.
I'm Sander.
And I'm Nason. As you know.
Yeah. Well, we got some new fans and stuff now. We're popping off on YouTube.
Just a little bit.
And Spotify. So if you don't know us yet, you better get to know us because this is going to be a spicy episode.
It will be a little hot. H-A-W-T. Hot.
So we're talking, obviously the Oscar nominations, this stuff just came out, got released. I think that there is some obvious controversy with... Again, like how we talked about a little bit ago with the Golden Globes, and it feels like, unfortunately, they followed a very similar tone, which I'm disappointed by. I was expecting less nominations for Emilia Pérez, and they got more somehow, and tied for second most all time with like just unbelievably good films that will go down as some of the greatest films of all time. It got tied with some of those films, and here we are sitting talking about a movie that was just almost disrespectfully bad in terms of the nominations and the awards that it's getting. It's like making it even worse now.
Yes.
because it's getting so much praise by the award season, and most people that have seen it have hated the film.
Yeah, so we're gonna go right into this first.
I mean, we can.
Or we're gonna softly.
We're gonna softly go into it because I want to spend like 10, 15 minutes just shit talking Emilia Pérez essentially. But I definitely feel like there's some snubs and stuff that did happen besides like Emilia Pérez probably bumping out some of these people in terms of like those categories. But I think it's just it ends up being like it was just a bit of a slap in the face in terms of what happened during this part of the award season. I don't know if like you have any other kind of overall thoughts, but
there was a strange energy this year, and I noticed it in many areas.
Yep.
And this is across the film and TV industry, and just like dealing with the different clients and funding bodies, and just overall, there's a different tonality this year. But even extending into these awards, it seems like there's some underlying energy, tone difference. Today, this year feels very different from past years.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like there's something, a stance being taken. Like this is the first year where I felt like the Oscars were just so distinctly different, and the Golden Globes as well. I mean, the Golden Globes kind of follow the similar trajectory as it usually does, but the Oscars, especially with this release, with what the nominations are, it just felt like they really strayed. It's almost like they didn't do enough research.
They didn't watch enough of these movies, critically. And I think the better representation of what cinema has done for what cinema did in 2024 was the Critics' Choice Awards.
Yeah.
The Critics' Choice Awards were incredibly well-rounded.
Yeah.
Like, I think they actually, of those nominations and stuff, those were the right choices. And the BAFTAs were a good characterization of what films actually spoke true within the year. And those, I feel like, what could end up coming out of this is the fact that like you see more eyes on the Critics' Choice Awards and the BAFTAs versus like just the Golden Globes and the Oscars, because now we look at the Golden Globes and the Oscars and I'm like, these are the same award ceremony now. Whereas even what we said in the Golden Globe episode is like, I was hoping, okay, well, it seems like they've made a mistake or something here with this award or whatever it was. Though I'm sure the Oscars will correct themselves.
Because the Golden Globes is like the participation trophy.
Yeah, but it's also like more bought than it is deserved sometimes. And like, it's just, it's interesting. I feel like, and we'll get into the snubs and stuff. I feel like even when it just comes to nominations, it doesn't mean that necessarily these people are going to like win, but at least to be considered in the category when the categories were, some of the categories were pretty deep, but it's like, it doesn't feel right. It feels like there's too much of a narrative this year too.
Yes.
And I think last year also felt like that as well.
Yeah, well, the general growth has been trending in this direction. I feel like that my big snubs for this year have just been like, I almost look at the Oscars and I look at the nominations as, here are the people, the talent, whether it's in front of the camera, behind the camera, it's like these are the people that are doing it right, and they get a nod for being in the top of their category. And that, regardless of who wins, that would be all we'll get into it. Yeah. Those will be my snubs, where it's like people who didn't even get mentioned, and they did some great performances, and it's like, well, is it the choice of narrative that put them in for an actress who got snubbed or an actor that got snubbed? What's the case? What happened here? Is there? Yeah. So that would be the biggest thing, is just like nominations who should have at least gotten like a, hey, you're doing it right by getting a nomination. Yeah. And they didn't even get that. I think the interesting thing is as well that we have to look at and maybe even just take a consideration into is the fact that the list, like, okay, top
top actress, like top supporting actor, like actor in a leading role, like those, there's only 5 people in the category. So it's a very narrow window in terms of even just the credit that you get from the nomination. And I mean, I feel like that is good, but it also like, maybe it should be 7. Like just allow for at least the credit that some of these other people in films deserve, because there's other, like some of the other categories are more than just 5 nominees.
Yeah.
And I mean, I believe I don't think it's anything else. I think it's just Best Picture. Best Picture is like, that's 10. So there's 10 nominations for Best Picture. That's the only one. But I feel like 7 is like a very comfortable number, because I feel like in most years, there's probably only really 7 to 10 amazing standout films. There might be a good year. Like I think 2024 was actually a very good film year.
Yep.
And I think there might have been 15, maybe a couple more that you can kind of mix in and talk about. And there were some incredible performances that really elevated other films that you could consider, obviously. But when it comes to those overall nominate, like 5 is tight. 5 is very tight. And I think the Golden Globes is even like 6 or 7.
Yeah.
So I think just giving that extra little piece of credit allows people to feel more comfortable to say, okay, we don't just think that this is completely one-sided in the way that the narrative is shifting towards the people or the films that you're picking in these categories.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, like, there's been a lot of controversy this year, so it'll be
Hoorah.
yeah. I just it's people getting like snubbed in terms of deserving nominations and stuff.
Yeah.
As well. But again, that 5 nominees is tight. Like that's hard to narrow 5 people.
Well, I think that's kind of the beauty of it, is narrowing 5 people from such a wide range, especially when it's been a good year for content.
Yeah.
I think that there's a magic to that. Now, extending to 7, I think it'd be nice. But does it dilute I don't think 2 films dilutes the category,
Yeah.
but there could be the argument that, oh, well, it is 5 because we want it to be a really hard choice so that only the top 5 are getting there.
Yeah.
But that would require you to pick the top 5
Properly.
and not and not do strange choices that make everybody go, well, we get it. We sure, their performance could have been good in the film.
Yeah.
But against this film, and this film,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would pick that character or that individual.
Yeah. And I think there's been a lot of that. I think that happened a little bit in terms of the like actors and actresses, but
Yep.
more in like the director category, as we see like Denis get snubbed, and we see I'm gonna butcher the guy's last name, but but like best original screenplay for challengers, Justin Kuritzkis. Again, like did really well in the box office, was a huge hit this year, and didn't get any nominations. Not a single nomination for that film.
Wait, Challengers didn't get any?
Nothing.
Oh, yeah, no, Challengers didn't get any. And then what was the other one that was a surprise that didn't get any?
I'm not sure what like big one.
Yeah, I can't think of it. But yeah, it was Challengers, and then there was another one that I was shocked when I was like, oh, you didn't get anything.
I think that there just could have been like better picks. I think that's just like the best way to describe it as well. I think we just need to like kind of get the pain out of the way.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about who got snubbed.
Where are we starting?
So we're starting with Daniel Craig not getting a nomination for Queer.
Okay, that one I was shocked by. So to be fair,
Yeah, go for it.
To be fair, I haven't seen Queer yet, and I do regret that I haven't seen Queer yet. But watching clips and watching the trailer and seeing the general audience review and reading Letterboxd and everything, Daniel Craig looks like he's having a hell of a good time playing that character. And I'm from what I saw, I'm so impressed. So to not get a nom for that feels strange to me.
But also a very deep category too. Right. Like a very, very deep category in terms of like you have Adrian Brody, you have Timothée Chalamet, you have Colin Domingo, you have Ralph Fiennes, and then you have Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice.
Which is also everybody was surprised by.
Because I was like, I saw A Different Man and I saw The Apprentice, and A Different Man is the better of the two films.
Interesting.
I was surprised in general The Apprentice got any nominations at all.
Really?
Because obviously with the story being about Trump, I was like, I don't think the Academy is going to give them anything.
Right.
Because I was like, there's no way they like the guy. And as much as they don't want to be politicized, there absolutely are.
Of course.
And like something as polarizing as that film, which was unbelievably good. So good. And it's all based in the 70s of like essentially what started like the Trump era and like him becoming this crazy mogul.
Even if you're losing, pretend you're winning or whatever the line is.
Never admit defeat.
That's it. Yeah.
Even if written on paper that you've lost, never admit defeat. Always claim victory.
Yeah.
Cohen's 3 rules. And I'm happy that Jeremy Strong actually got a nomination for that as well.
Yeah.
Because his role in that film was so well done. So well done. He was like perfect. It was the perfect person to play that character. And I mean, like, even it was interesting because we looked it up afterwards and Ali was kind of curious and I didn't even tell her we were going to watch it. And we ended up watching it. I was like, oh no, I think you're going to like this film. And she was like on the edge of her seat watching the film, and she wouldn't even normally be like that with certain films. And I was happy that she was so engaged because it was such an amazing story in terms of like how you see I'm trying to find the best way to put this, but like the beauty behind the devil in terms of how the character develops. But it's they paint him in a certain way, and it's like, okay, well, do we know, like, is this all 100% accurate? Is it like inflated a little bit? Obviously you don't know for sure.
Yeah.
And it's a character, but it's also like, he did such a good job. And it's like, you see, as the movie progresses, you see such a great movement forward in the way that, like, we see the mannerisms of who he is now too. And it's like he didn't start like that. He was kind of just like guarded and shy, and then by the end of it you go, there he is. There's the hair, there's the tan, there's the hands, there's everything. It's like, this is the best ever. All of that.
Yeah.
It was such a good film. I'm happy that they got nominated for the film. I didn't even think it was going to happen. I don't know if they'll win, but it would be pretty incredible.
Yes.
Because they're both like, the actor categories are pretty stacked on both sides, like in the leading role and the supporting role. So I guess we'll see what happens, but maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later in terms of some polarizing picks, so like who we think actually might win in the categories. But yeah, Queer not getting it's tough. Like it's, again, he's coming out of the shadow of like being James Bond for so long and doing that film and kind of having really, I guess, a spin-off similar version in the Knives Out series and stuff because of the way that he's just like this detective. And he did such a good job in those films, but I also think that this is like the total opposite way.
Yep.
And it puts him in such a vulnerable position as an actor to go into a kind of film like this. I don't think he could have done any better, though.
Yeah.
So it's too bad that he kind of got snubbed on that.
But that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, he'll get, at the end of the day, it's like the court of public opinion ends up mattering more.
Yes, yes.
And the film will get more hype as a result of, like, people going,
Oh.
no, this was absolutely, this was utterly incredible. How did you not
You
give
have to
this
watch
more?
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I always remember, I remember having a conversation way back with a programmer for, I believe they were a hot docs programmer at the time. And they were like, sometimes they don't pick a film because they know that it'll be a popular audience choice.
But
So exactly. So I immediately went, whoa. Shouldn't that mean you pick it more? Because then obviously it's resonating with people to a point where because it's that incredible.
Yeah.
And their response was, yes, but if I know that there's two films and there's one that's a bit more fringe, somebody took more of a risk, and that's the less popular audience appeal one, they'll give that the spot so that they can get it out to more people than the one that's more commercially viable. And I respect it.
Yeah.
But I also don't respect it because I don't know if that's how it should be rewarded.
Yeah.
Now I get if it's like, if it is an artistic piece and they did take a risk and it is a really good film, it just doesn't have that like straight off the bat artistic appeal. So people have to see, oh, it has a nod from this festival and this festival and this festival to give it a chance versus the other one where they're like, oh, I'm in.
Yeah.
But I always wonder if like that's part of it.
But that's an interesting take though too, because it's not really like, Queer wasn't really a mainstream film.
Yeah, true.
Like, it is off center a bit because it took such a big risk in terms of like him being in that film in that kind of way. So I feel like that means that they should get all the praise and stuff for the awards, and they haven't gotten anything.
It's true. It's true.
But it leads to us having that conversation of like, it should have got it. Everybody should go see it. If you haven't seen it, it's an absolutely incredible performance. Like it leads to that hype that I feel like is becoming more popular now. And the flip side of that is us trash talking a movie like Emilia Pérez. That's the most looked up movie in the world right now. Like that's the most researched movie in the world.
Yeah.
Because it's not good and everybody's like shitting on the film. They're going, how did this get 13 Academy nominations? And 2 in one category too, I might add. 2 in the same category. 2 of 5 is insane.
What is this, actress?
No. It was for Best Original Song, I believe.
Oh, copy.
Yeah. Again, terrible pick. The songs were terrible. They were so bad. They were so bad. It's just, it was, music original song. They had 2 nominations.
Yeah, okay. So when I saw that they got 13 nominations, up until that point, I had heard nothing but negative things about the film.
Yeah.
Mexico hates it. Everybody who is anybody in film doesn't understand why it's popular, why it's not. I didn't even hear about its release.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like there.
It was just like dropped on Netflix randomly.
Yeah. And like, it was one of those things where you read into the backstory and you find out that it's a French director who wrote the script in French and essentially Google translated it to Spanish, and they're doing a direct Spanish, so it's not Mexican Spanish or South American Spanish. It's Mexico's North America, but it's not Mexico and South America Spanish, and their mannerisms, it's Spanish,
which is
from Spain,
different,
which is very different. And if you talk to any Mexican, they do not like their Spanish, their Spanish friends, or at least don't like being compared to their Spanish friends because there's a history there.
Yeah.
And so you look at all these things, and then the talent. I think they used one Mexican actress in a supporting role. Everybody else was like like kind of Mexican,
But
like Selena
that's almost
Gomez.
more disrespectful,
Right,
yeah.
like Selena Gomez doesn't speak Spanish, but they played her off as a gringa.
Yeah.
Like she's like, a white American who has Spanish ancestry,
Yeah.
or Mexican ancestry, but isn't directly. But then apparently there's a backstory
But
where
same
she
with,
grew up.
Zoe Saldana as well.
Where
Like,
she's
we looked
from
it
the
up.
Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you have all these people who, it's like they're portraying all these Mexican characters in a film that's not Mexican at all. And
It's not even like a truly Mexican film. It's a French film.
Right. It's a French film
Yeah.
on the opinion of Mexico and that whole take on the cartels and the corruptness
Yeah.
without doing any real research. So right away you're like, okay, this is an awful
Yeah.
film because there's nothing there. But then you have everybody going crazy about how, like, or you have all these nominations and people liking it. And I went deep diving on the internet because I was just like so caught off guard by this because everything I had heard was awful.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was looking it up and reading reviews and people were like, oh, the film was fine. But I'm from the UK. I'm not really connected to that. I don't really understand.
Yeah.
Oh, the film was fine. I'm from here. I'm from there. I'm from a Nordic country. I thought it was okay. It wasn't great, but it was fine. Like, so you start reading all these reviews and you're like, okay, well, the main review is either it's really awful and people are really offended, or it's fine. It's okay. And then because I had been searching it, Instagram decided to refer me some scenes. And
The one scene.
I cannot believe that the scenes that I was seeing, I was like, there is no way that this is popular. And like
this is like a real movie.
Right.
Like this is a serious, high level dominated.
I felt like I was watching like a high school musical performance. Like I was like watching it going, oh my God, what am I watching? This is the thing everybody's raving about.
I had to double take that scene that we're talking about and check that it wasn't like a parody.
I thought it was a dub
because I thought it was a dub, but I also did a deep dive on the film too because 6 days after, not 6 days after, like a couple weeks after the film got released, there was a parody made that they shot and did in like 6 days.
Yeah.
And then released it after. I was like,
that's
this has
too
to be
funny.
like the parody
That's too funny.
of the movie. But
Yeah.
it's the real movie. And you're like, no, that's...
What was
they're
the songs that got nominated? I guess I can't remember.
El Mal.
Which one is it? One of the Selena Gomez ones? It's not the Selena Gomez
No.
one. Oh, thank
No.
God. Thank
And
God.
Mi Camino.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one I saw the one that I sent, the clip that I sent you, where they're
Yeah.
walking through the lab or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I sent you that, going, this isn't real,
I saw
right?
it on TikTok, but we go, yeah.
And then there was that one, and then the other one I saw was Selena Gomez, like in a bedroom, and then she spins, and she's in like a black void with naked men, or I don't know, I didn't have context to it, but yeah,
Don't need context.
it was just like I could speak better Spanish. Or I could sound
fair
more.
now,
I could
yeah.
sound more. Well, I could sound more like authentically, like from Mexico. And
Yeah.
I can't remember in the movie where she's supposed to be from, but it was like, oh, it was so bad.
Yeah.
It was like you were in Mexico City on the street, and you had the American tourists like trying to speak Spanish,
Yeah.
even though it's awful.
That'd be like me going down and like trying to do it.
Yeah, right. No, exactly. Just
Now that you're pausing, I saw this video of an interviewer asking, asking Selena Gomez if she's going to perform the song if they get nominated, and she's like, oh, it's okay.
That's even better. She knows how bad it is.
yeah, she does.
That's horrible. And she got so much money from that movie, probably. Like, Netflix probably paid them so much money for that film.
Yeah.
The annoying part, too, is it's a Netflix film.
And this is. But do you know if Netflix didn't make it? It's not an original, is it?
Yeah, I think
It is
it's a
an original?
Netflix film, yeah.
Oh my God. So okay.
I'm 99%.
While you're looking that up, I'll say this. So, all you guys at home, if a film is made about a culture that the person didn't take time to understand, and they just cast whoever without thinking about who's impacted, and they don't really care about bringing on any dialect coaches or anybody who can advise on how things are supposed to be said or what is going to make the film feel more realistic and more authentic. And you don't respect any of that, and you go to a topic that's very touchy in Mexico because it's, you know, a big impact on the structure and the corruptness in the system.
Yep.
So you do all these things, and then it gets a silent release on Netflix, nothing really big, and it just is like one of those films that somebody did and you shelf it. That's how it's feeling. But then it comes out and it starts winning and it starts beating Wicked.
Mm-hmm. Everything.
For a musical, everybody who watched Wicked, when I talked to them, they were like, I was blown away by how good it was.
Can't wait for the second part.
Right,
yeah.
right. So you have all these people who are like blown away by that film, but all I could hear from every single person about Emilia Pérez was, what the hell is that movie?
Yeah.
What is it? And you know, there was, I can't think of her name, Cara?
The main actress?
Yeah, hats off to her.
Yeah.
Well done. Congratulations on the nomination and everything.
Yep.
I believe she's the first transgender woman to get a nomination, I believe.
Must be.
I think so.
Must be.
So hats off to her. That's great.
What category are we putting her in?
But
I'm just asking the question. I'm asking the question.
right. So you know, hats off to her.
Yeah.
I appreciate that and respect all the respect in the world. But how can you get away with doing this for a film? Like if you did this about anything else, you'd be castrated.
Yeah.
And to have the Academy accept it, understand it, and still give in to that
many.
It's like, what happened? Academy, are you guys in debt or something? Like, did you take money from the wrong people? Like,
They took money from Netflix, probably.
Yeah.
But it is a Netflix film, by the way.
Yeah, it is. Of course.
And that's what I mean. Maybe they took some money from Netflix. Netflix is paying them out.
Right. It's one of those things where I'm
It's just
like,
insane. It's too much. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
yeah, it's I don't know. All this to say, I haven't seen it yet. So maybe I'm gonna sit down tonight and I'm gonna cozy up on the couch and I'll watch it and I'll be like, wow, that is the greatest film
It's a
I've ever
life-changing
seen.
film.
Yeah, maybe I'll be so blown away that I'll be like, wow.
I'm transitioning.
Maybe, who knows? So maybe that'll be exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And I'll be watching this podcast back going, wow, I better fucking shut the fuck up.
Yeah, well, we got to cut this episode completely. Cut the episode.
I'll have to do like a dubbing after where it cuts to me, and I'll be like have my wig on or whatever, and I'll be like, actually, guys, so I was wrong with all my statements. This is actually really good.
It's maybe one of the best films I've ever seen.
Exactly.
It absolutely deserves to be as many nominations as Oppenheimer last year.
Oh my God! Yeah,
that's where it's at. That's the nomination.
That's
level
crazy
that it's at.
to have a film.
It's the same amount of nominations as Forrest Gump.
Sometimes I wake up and I go, what is going on in the world? And not even because of this, but because of a lot of the things in the world.
Yeah, but this is it.
It's almost like a simulation, you know? Like,
yeah,
it's like, the Academy, are you guys testing us? Is it like let's see what we can get away with, like what they'll be okay with? I don't know. It's very strange. So all this to say, give it nomination, sure, whatever. Respect the art form that it is, and if you guys like it, you like it. But don't give it 13. Give it 5.
That's insane.
Or let it blow up at the Golden Globes, and then forget about it at the Oscars.
That's what I thought was going to happen. I thought it was going to blow up. I thought we were done. I thought we were like, oh, okay, it's got whatever it had, like 8 or 9 nominations at the Golden Globes. I go, well, it can't get any worse from here.
Yeah.
I thought it was. What did I say? I think I said I was going to have like 5, or 6, maybe.
Yeah.
Not 13.
What the hell?
Not 13.
So funny. Okay,
Insane.
well, all this to say, I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah,
and I'll sit through it, and I'll see what's cooking with it, because
Collective reaction to the film.
There's no it was funny when I saw the film, the nominations and everything. I totally wrote it off, being like, I've heard so much negative about this film that I don't even need to see it, because it just sounds like a waste of time, and it's not going to be relevant at all.
It's 2 hours of my life I'm not going to get back.
Right. Apparently not. Apparently it's very relevant. You got to watch it as a filmmaker.
Relevant enough that it's got 13 nominations. And it could be life-changing in terms of film and cinema. So it's now on the greatest of all time films list. It's insane.
I saw one comment that made me laugh. It was like, so I just had a joke explained to me. So it was a joke on a Mexican forum.
Yeah.
And it was talking about all the. It was like the funniest job types in the different areas of South America. So it was like being a marine biologist in Bolivia. Bolivia's landlocked, and they have no source of water, so that's why. And then the one joke that I found funny was being a linguist in Chile, and the whole joke is because Chile has a terrible accent. Is this correct?
Well, for Latinos, it's a joke that the Chilean accent is hard to understand.
Yeah. And so I saw a clip of Selena Gomez doing this song from the bedroom into Black Void, and you can't really understand what she's saying because she's kind of slow in her words, and it's kind of like gringa talk and all this. And the first comment, most liked comment, it was like, it's a Chilean accent, I forgive her.
So it's okay.
Yeah, we don't understand them anyways, right? So, and it was, of course, all the comments are written in Spanish because all the Mexican people are just like, what the hell?
What are we doing
The
here?
Mexicanos and Mexicanas are like, what is going on?
You're just disrespected like as a third party now too.
Yeah. So funny.
It's bad.
So funny.
Well, we might as well continue on with that. I guess we kind of covered our Emilia Pérez
Little
rant.
Rant.
We might as well talk about like some other snubs and stuff. And then we'll talk about the fun stuff. And I'm happy with like some of them. We could already kind of touch a little bit, but the fact that Challengers didn't get any nominations.
Surprising. Very
completely
surprising.
Shut out.
Considering that a lot of people left that film feeling inspired from a narrative sense.
And even from like, you know what? And I didn't give it enough credit when we were talking about it with the Golden Globe stuff because I didn't really understand in terms of the depth of how impressive the score of the film was too.
Yep.
And I finally watched it back again, and I can honestly say it was one of the better scores of the year.
Right.
And the fact that it didn't get that, it didn't even get Best Original Screenplay, nothing. And the movie did so well in terms of box office with like maybe one of the hottest actresses on the market right now in terms of like the work that she's doing. She didn't get anything. She's getting snubbed. So it's like, it's disappointing to see.
Yep. Because
there was a very good opportunity for them to get nominated for a few different ones with score, with Best Original Screenplay. She easily could have been in the nominations for Best Leading Actress, because that wasn't like, honestly, I don't think it was a very deep category for Best Leading Actress.
And for Best Leading Actress, another snub too. I would argue that Nicole Kidman's performance in Baby Girl deserved somewhat of a nom.
Yeah, I think just based on like, again, another one stepping out of your comfort zone and like going into a completely different role, that whole film got snubbed. Nothing. That didn't get anything.
Didn't get anything.
That could have been that easily could have been in there with like Best Original Screenplay as well.
Yeah,
like another one.
At least, yeah.
No nominations, really. Nothing. But I think
that's surprising.
And I think the blanket statement that I would make about why that didn't get any is because it was too taboo for the Academy.
I agree with you.
And like,
I think that was
it's too bad though, because I think that they did a really good job. Like I genuinely do.
And I understand if the story content, I understand that being a bit fringe, and I understand the Academy being like, okay, we're not going to add this to our slate, but at least recognize the performance, because Nicole Kidman, like, I mean, I walked away from that film feeling kind of disgusted, like by the interaction between characters. Like, I felt very uncomfortable because of that relationship. But I appreciated, wow, what an amazing film to be able to make me feel that way, because I'm not in that realm. And to see, and Nicole Kidman was great, very, very good in it, because I felt all the emotions and all the highlights and the reactions to everything were genuine and authentic, and I could really feel for her character, and I was fighting for her character to break out of this spell, break out of this cycle. Yeah. And so I would say that was a very powerful performance.
Absolutely.
And to not see at least that is a bit wild.
And again, maybe if it was 7 instead of 5, we would have seen her on the list.
Maybe.
But until that happens, which it probably won't, right? last kind of big snub was Edward Berger for Conclave. Mm-hmm. Overall, the movie did extremely well in terms of nominations. 8 nominations in amongst a lot of categories.
Deserved, yeah.
But missed out on the best director. And like one of those best director misses.
Yeah.
Because of Conclave being such a good film. Denny getting, I don't know if we're just saying Denny. Like, is it Denny's or is it Denny?
It's Denny.
Is it Denny?
Yeah.
The S is silent.
I'm pretty sure from all the interviews at least.
Yeah.
Same with
Josh Brolin has said that.
Yeah, and same even with it's not Timothy, it's Timothy Chalamet.
But he misses out on Best Director again. I don't know. That's an interesting one, considering how many nominations the film got overall. To then miss out on a Best Director is kind of, it's a little murky water.
Apparently, the Academy doesn't like French Canadians.
Well, they don't like him after All Quiet on the Western Front. That's why.
Denny?
Yeah. No, not Denny.
Oh, you're talking for Conclave.
Yeah. Sorry,
yes. No. I was gonna say no. Yeah, the Conclave was great. Like,
yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like it, and maybe because it is a slow-paced film. I'm a sucker for the slow pace.
It was very good. I liked it a lot.
And the cinematography was beautiful. It was very reminiscent of the style and the tonality. Not the tonality exactly, but how the cinematography in the world made you feel from All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yep.
Which is, again, All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah.
C'est bon.
A sheer piece of cinema masterpiece.
Yeah,
It is a great film.
Very, very, very incredible.
So I think he got snubbed on that Best Director.
I think
At least just a nomination.
Just a head tap to you, sir. You don't have to win. Just be like, good job.
And it's like, that's, again, the tough part with like 5 nominees. Because it's like we can easily have those 2 in a top 7 and everybody's happy. But it's like, okay, we had 4 of the 5 that were good films. So it's like, okay, we can't really take those people out.
Yeah.
Like, that's where it gets tricky. Because you're like, okay, who do we take out? And I mean, let's be honest, we're just going to take out the Emilia Pérez director. But you go like shot for shot in terms of, okay, is Sean Baker doing Nora better than Denny doing Dune Part 2? Is it better? Or you want to make it like even more interesting. You go, okay, did Coralie Farguet do a better job with the substance than Denny did? Or like it's so tricky.
It's hard because they're very different extents of cinema.
Absolutely.
Because
especially with Dune, like it's completely different than everything else.
And the way that Denny commands the world and commands the set and creates a narrative that's so complex yet very good to follow and makes perfect sense is really incredible.
Yeah.
And now it's not as a grounded and touching character story as like a Nora is. Yeah. And it's not that really aggressive body horror that you're getting from The Substance.
Yeah.
So it's very different cinema, but like the talent as a director to be able to control the reins on a beast as big as Dune.
Yeah.
Like we've already seen, who did the first one? It was there was the crazy one, and then it was the Fincher. So then there was the Fincher version, and those were fine, but very complex and couldn't quite do it. And then you get to Denis, and it's like, wow, this is how you execute it.
This is exactly how it should be.
Exactly.
It would almost be like there's really only 2 people that could truly elevate that film in that light right now.
Yeah.
That's Denis, and it might be Nolan.
I think Nolan couldn't have done it justice just because Nolan has such a grounded real world approach versus Denis, where you look at his filmography and it's always been progressing into these. The reason I love Denis is because he takes the world and twists it, even like in Prisoners. It was the world, it was our world, but didn't feel like I could walk outside and see that film.
Yep.
Sometimes Nolan films, I feel like I could walk outside and see that world. But that's part of the beauty of it. Like The Dark Knight, a big reason it felt so real was because I felt like I could walk outside and see Joker walking down the street.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, hit me. But Denny takes this spice that he adds on top of what he's doing in the team that he works with, and that's what creates these incredible worlds. And I think that's why Dune is so amazing and so impactful.
And I think that's also like a really good point, because it feels like that out of world experience, he really got to play with it in 2 other films. And I think Prisoners is a good example, but I think there's even better examples that like carried him into this Dune world so perfectly.
Like Arrival.
Which is Rival and Blade Runner.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Especially Blade Runner, because it's that kind of mystic other world. But Arrival is like also insane in its own way. And that is such a beautiful piece of filmography. And like, he's done so many of these like really, really impressive films. But even like Enemy is like that as well. So,
and if you look at his one of his short films called Next Floor, I believe.
Yeah.
I think it's Next Floor.
Yep. Yeah, 2008.
Yeah. What a great short film that illustrates taking an average day, taking an average concept, and spinning it into something that's compelling and different and unique with its own touches and own attributes that make it so special.
And he did Sicario as well. I didn't even realize that.
Oh yeah, Sicario is great.
Yeah, Sicario is a very good film.
We love
as
a good
well.
Sicario.
Yeah, I gotta watch that back. He loves using Josh Brolin, eh?
Yo, Josh Brolin's
in that
and
as
in
well.
Sicario.
Yeah,
he's a mean motherfucker. He's a mean motherfucker.
Pretty deep cast. I'm just like looking at it again now.
Yeah. No, I love the first Sicario. That soundtrack is incredible.
Yeah,
incredible.
30 million budget. Pretty damn
good. Pretty good.
Yeah, he did Sicario 1 and 2.
He didn't do 2. Did he do 2?
Yeah.
He did 2?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Why didn't I think he did 2?
He didn't do 3.
Oh, there was
a third? Like a third. Yeah. Oh no.
There's Sicario 1, and then there's Sicario 2, which is Day of the Soldado.
It's coming out this year.
He didn't do 3 though.
We're gonna double check. Hasn't. I don't know. There's a trailer. I don't know if it's like the real trailer. But it's got stuff for it.
Oh yeah.
Still with Emily Blunt. Like, so I don't know if he's doing this one.
They're pulling it back to Emily Blunt, the first one, because the second one carried off on the side. It was good, but it wasn't as impactful as the first one, I would say. Because you find out that it's just Columbia.
Josh Brolin gave a mixed update, apparently, so there's a chance that he's in it.
Right. He's probably in it.
I don't know. It doesn't say anything about Denny.
Well, I guess we'll see.
So, yeah, but 1 and 2 he did. Yeah, that's kind of goes over like most of the snubs and stuff. I don't know if you have any others that you saw that you're like, No. Once we go down the like a list of a few other things, I'm sure we'll get into it. But let's talk about the fun stuff at least, which is kind of some surprises. We already kind of touched on that a little bit. Which the first one kind of goes out to Sebastian Stan being nominated for The Apprentice.
Good on you, Sebastian.
And his films, 2 of his films being nominated as well. So him and Timothée both have double nominations.
Good. And
in terms of double films.
It's Bob Dylan, right? The one.
Yeah. So, Complete Unknown. Yeah.
That film, I'll give you guys a little interesting cinematography insight because I was having this conversation with a good gaffer friend of mine. He was saying, so we were talking about this film that we're kind of working on, not really working on, more like consulting on.
Yep.
And we were talking about how the Sony Venice 2, the Venice 2, was used on that film, and they were shooting at a ridiculously high ISO, and they were using a lot of practicals and natural light as you would see it in the world. And this is a gaffer who I believe he's 50, 60 now.
Yep.
So he's been around. He's done a lot of work, and he was talking about how there is nothing more beautiful than being able to go on set and film a scene with the light that's available and just adding little pockets here and there, but not having to do a giant moon rig at night or having to do a giant crazy lift or anything like that. Just being very specific about, okay, we're going to have a car turn the corner here and illuminate our suspicious character's face. And we're going to have practicals here that are lamplight and store light and this, fire spilling out from this building. Like, the Bob Dylan film is a perfect example of using that and using all these, using a camera to its full extent.
Yep.
As a little side note.
I didn't know that. No,
Yeah.
that's good. I mean, it's nice to see like a couple double nominations like that. It does go to show, and I think those are completely deserved. I think that, I honestly think that this is maybe a bold statement as well, because I mean, we saw Sebastian Stan win a Golden Globe, but I honestly think he should have been nominated for both films in the best leading actor. Like, I don't think that's even a hot take. I think that's like very reasonable.
If you're good, you're good.
But he was like, again, that was one of the other things that, as we were saying earlier, like that movie, like A Better Man, was such a fragile subject as well, in terms of like, appearance will always be a fragile subject, but I feel like that is such a nice area to touch on in terms of like how the story was laid out and the screenplay, and like I don't know if I would have it for score or song or anything like that, but you can absolutely consider it for director, you can consider it for best actor. It was a good film, and I feel like it's not quite getting the right credit at the same time that The Apprentice is as well. And maybe you were like, okay, let's give all the credit for the Golden Globes to A Better Man and the Oscars to The Apprentice.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. But that being said, if you come first at the 200-meter dash, and you come first at triple jump, you're still first. Doesn't mean you should be like, oh, we'll give him first for the 200-meter because we can't give it to him for the triple jump. No.
So, it's interesting. I'm happy that he at least got nominated again.
Yes.
I thought the Academy Awards were going to be more politicized, and that he wouldn't wouldn't even get nominated for that movie specifically because of the context of the film.
Yep.
But I'm glad he did. I'm
me
glad
too.
he actually got some credit for that.
Good for you,
It was
Sebastian.
a very good film. I highly
you
recommend watching
scared
it.
my young actress friend, but that's besides the point.
What do you mean?
I don't think so. I had the privilege of working with one of the younger actresses that's on the Apprentice. I think her scene actually got cut or shortened, so she was only in it for a brief moment. But I had the privilege of doing a short film with her and another really popular young actress in Canada, and her mom, this little girl's mom, was telling me that she loved Sebastian Stan because of him playing Bucky and all these other characters, but him in the Trump outfit really freaked her out for whatever reason. And she plays Ivanka in it.
Yeah.
Like his daughter.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember.
Yep.
Yeah. And so she had to be like, this is my dad. But she just was like, had a really hard time connecting with him.
Oh, that's
because
too
she was
bad.
just scared. Lovely girl, though. Highly
They didn't
recommend
use
working
that
with
at all. There was no.
her.
There was no scenes with the daughter. They only did with like Trump Jr. basically.
Yes,
They only did those.
It was
also weird too, a little bit. But
they took it out because of politics. Because I think if they included the scene she's involved in, I think she walks in and Trump's cheating on. Oh, it was something like that.
they maybe had to cut it because
they cut it because Trump was going to file a lawsuit if that scene was in it.
there was another scene that they showed that I guess if he hasn't filed the lawsuit, it's real, which is even crazier that it is real because it confirms. I literally can't even say it. We'll probably get like banned on YouTube if I say what happened, but it was bad.
But as a joke, that's where you go. That's where you go. And it is, and then it's just like the.
If you want to beep this part out, it said.
That's the scene.
Yeah,
this is the scene, and then the daughter walks in.
No, the daughter doesn't walk in.
because they cut her out.
Oh, that's even crazier. No. It's with his wife though. It's like it's not cheating.
No.
Yeah.
It's not. It wasn't cheating. It was something like this. It was a very scene, and then the daughter walks in.
It was aggressive.
Oh yeah.
Like very aggressive, and then I was taken back by a second. I was like, oh my god.
Holy.
But again, it has to, like, as crazy as that sounds, if he hasn't already filed a lawsuit, it means it's real. Right?
Uh-oh.
I don't know. We won't get into it too much.
Nope.
Our next episode is going to be way more drama, and let's hope we're going to talk about all that, which I have questions for you because we'll get into it. But
cool.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad he got the nomination for that. Again, another one that's like a nice surprise. I'm gonna butcher her name, but the director for The Substance actually getting nominated for that film. Yeah, I mean, horror films don't get nominated for Best Director very often, so it's kind of nice to like see her. It's also as almost obvious as this is to say, it's kind of nice to have like a female director get in the mix sometimes too.
Yeah,
because that's actually I would say almost more rare.
It's not always an old boys club. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's nice as well. Like it's nice to actually see that. Did you watch The Substance?
I've seen clips, but no.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of BTS from it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. How they did like the theater scene.
Yep.
How they did that and a bunch of other stuff. But I've been asking a lot of questions about The Substance because to have some level of expertise on it, I ask people's opinions on it, and I read letterbox reviews and all that stuff. And The Substance was ranked so highly, I had 5 people on separate occasions tell me I have to watch it.
Okay.
So
another one to put on the watch list then.
Yeah.
Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here.
Yep.
This is Brazil's first ever Best Picture nominee as well.
Woo, go Brazil!
Impressive. And she's breaking into the Best Actress race as well. So
sweet.
A good film. I've heard again nothing but good things about the film. Definitely have to put it on the watch list as well. But it's good to see. I feel like she hasn't gotten enough recognition for some of the other roles that she's done over the years. Not all perfect, but it's good. That and Brazil's first ever Best Picture nominee is always a fun time to get a nomination for. And then we have Like a Bird from the movie Sing Sing. I feel like Sing Sing didn't get enough nomination.
No, and Sing Sing was really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Yeah, I had 2 cinematographers tell me about it on 2 separate projects.
Yeah.
So I went and watched it, and it was great.
What was the other film? Remember when we went and saw The Brutalist?
Yeah.
And the other film that you said you had seen, was it the Indian film?
Oh,
didn't get a single nomination.
All There Is Light, something like that.
No nominations. Didn't even get.
I knew.
No international film nomination.
I
Nothing.
know.
Nothing.
No. Well, you know what the hard part with that film was? All We Imagine Is Light.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called. I watched that at the South Asian Film Festival.
Yeah.
And they had some people from the crew or the cast. I can't remember who came, but there was a couple people who came out answer questions. The issue walking out of that was talking to the friend that I went with and the general people around me who were like film critics and all these other people.
Yeah.
I missed, as somebody who doesn't speak the languages that are in the film, I missed so much subtext. And I didn't understand most of it. Yeah, I missed so much subtext on what the intricacies of character dialogue was because I didn't understand the local meanings, the local slang that was used.
Yeah.
Now, it was still a beautiful film and a beautiful character piece that you can't ignore, but I have a feeling that if the average person went and watched us. The average North American person, specifically the gringos and the gringas, who don't speak Hindi and then the other local dialogues, you won't get it. Because I watched it, got a few whispers here and there from the people around me for context, which I appreciated, and then I got a full rundown afterwards over dinner, and I was like, I missed so much little nuances with the characters, which is a beautiful thing to realize because, not everything's themed around the West or wherever. But I can also see why they would get snubbed because of that.
It's too bad, though. I think that films like that are not going to ever get the proper level of credit.
Yep.
And they kind of get left by the wayside, and they end up being such beautiful films, and like they'll
Stunning.
be timeless in the cinema world and like the people that really care about cinema, but the general public will it's too much of an Eastern film.
Yep.
Eastern cinema, right? And it's not, and as much as I'm like a very heavy blockbuster guy, you also can't deny like really impressive cinema.
If you
It's too bad.
If you can get past reading just that little bit of dialogue, little bit of structuring at the bottom of the screen, it's amazing the films that you unlock.
People should be used to it now because everybody watched Squid Game, so you should be used to it.
But everybody watched Squid Games dubbed.
It's terrible dub, though.
Don't watch it dubbed, guys.
Yeah,
The actors worked harder for that.
that's the best part. You have to enjoy
Yeah.
the way that you're listening to it in terms of it. The best way to describe it too is like the tonality changes entirely when you dub something. Like it's not, you don't get any impact in the same way.
They're not in the same scenario.
Yeah.
These are.
It's not a stressful scenario most of the time is usually what it is.
Yeah, you're not interacting with other characters. That's why ADR dialogue always seems very disjointed.
Yep.
Because it's not like I'm sitting here speaking to you.
Yeah.
I'm in my booth watching my character going, "Oh, hi, Sander. I feel very tired today," and they're just sitting there.
It's dead.
It really is.
Conversation. It sucks. It's just not.
Oh my God, they're killing people. I don't want to die. I need to win this prize money.
That's exactly what it sounds like. The dubbed version
It's
of
awful.
Squid Games,
Versus
especially the new ones, even worse. Honestly, the first one was like almost more disjointed that you could follow along with the dubbed, but the new one is like, it's just
even worse. Oh God.
It's just bad. So we got one more final win, and then we'll kind of go to our polarizing win potential, and we'll wrap this baby up. But final one was September 5. Did you watch that film, by the way?
I didn't watch. Have you watched
good.
September 5?
Very
okay.
good.
I've seen a lot. I watched a lot of clips from it. It's great. It looks
Did you
great.
see some of the behind the scenes of like how they shot it?
No.
So they shot it like first impression shooting of the actual real footage. So they showed like that newscast stuff that's in the film is the original footage
Oh.
from 1972 of like the whole thing happening in Munich.
Right.
And so that's real. Like their reactions to that footage of like the terrorists and stuff is a real, like it's not just acting. It's like the first time they're ever seeing this footage.
Oh, this is like genuine reaction from the
Yeah.
actors.
No, but like in the film, that's what they used as the cut. The first take of some of those shots is the only take that they did. Because they wanted it to be like so
Genuine.
so genuine, but also so terrifying for like the people that were essentially trying to report on the story at the time,
Right.
that it had to have that impact.
Yeah.
So I heard that before, and then I watched it. I was like, now I see it.
You
Like
get it.
it's
get
so
it
well
now.
done. And another like based on a true story that got nominated.
Yeah, it looks good.
for best original screenplay. I think it should have been.
Yeah.
Nothing in terms of like the overall acting of the film stands out as a very well done movie. I wouldn't like pick one person or somebody else for like best supporting or best leading, but it definitely deserved, I think, best original screenplay. I think that's a very reasonable pick in terms of like what it got nominated for. I'm just happy it got nominated at all.
Yeah.
So it was good. You definitely have to watch.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you'll really enjoy it. You'll
think
be
it's on my watch.
captivated by the film.
I think it's on my watch list already,
Yeah.
but I know that I had to watch that. It looks good. It looks too good not to.
Yeah, no, you'll really enjoy it.
Okay.
Because it's a true story too. So it definitely has some like I've been to where it was in Munich as well.
Oh, that's crazy.
Which is so cool to like
Ground yourself there and
Yeah. Because I was like thinking back and I'm like, oh, I remember being there and there. Like, and they show you like they have landmarks everywhere where everything happened and it's a wild story.
Oh, even going like just like with Sicario. I remember watching Sicario and being like, wow, this is a great film. But watching Sicario after being to Mexico City and being to places that they show in the film, I'm like, oh,
this is real.
and like I was literally right there.
Yeah.
Like that shot, I
That's
know
fun.
exactly where they took that shot from because I was standing in that point. I have that shot on my camera.
That's fun. That's
Like-
always fun though. You can like do that. That was like when we were in Italy and stuff, and I'm like, feels like Gladiator.
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute, I know
The
this angle. Yeah. So where is the water tubing? And they keep the sharks in there?
Yeah. Where do you have the sharks? Where do you keep them in the summer? They just back in the ocean. You bring them over here for the fights.
Yeah.
We kind of we went into our next segment before, but it was like calling out kind of Emilia Pérez and the whole situation. So I feel like we kind of covered that.
Yep.
We can beat a dead horse on a different episode if it wins everything. Unfortunately, I feel like it might win too many different things.
We'll see.
What do you think it's going to win? If we just have a hazard a guess.
For Best Picture.
Of the 13, how many do you think it wins?
5.
Really?
Yep.
I hate to say I think it's going to be like 8. I don't want it to be, but I honestly think it's going to be like 8.
I'm gonna say 5, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 8.
I hope it's 1.
What if
hope it's
what
done.
If, what if they? Yeah. What? Imagine that.
That would be amazing.
And they just nom them, so they're like, "Good job, guys."
The whole industry would be like,
Yeah.
deep
That would be
breath.
pretty funny. Okay, I'll guess 5. I will guess 5,
okay,
and you guess 8.
I'll
okay,
go
okay,
8.
Okay.
My official pick's 8. Nathan's gonna go 5. I hope it's 0, but I
see.
hope they can reject the nomination. So just take them back.
Sorry, guys, we messed up.
So I kind of want to go last part of this episode. We're going to go into polarizing potential wins. My favorite one is maybe the first one, which is Sebastian Stan for Best Actor.
I think so. It feels like a Sebastian Stan kind of year.
But part of the other on this
Yeah.
list is Timothée Chalamet for Best Actor. It could be a toss-up between the two because currently the odds are in favor of Timothy because of the whole controversy with The Brutalist and the AI and stuff, which Brady Corbett actually came out and made a statement about recently. Like why they did it. And but because of that, he's now dropped in terms of betting odds, essentially.
Yeah, I
he was a
think
favorite for a while.
I think
Could
if
be
I'm
one of the two.
trusting my, it could be either.
Yeah.
If I'm trusting my gut, though, I would say, I'd say Sebastian Stan.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, Timothy's good. He's damn good, but we know he's damn good.
I want Sebastian to win.
Yeah.
My gut's telling me Timothy. My gut is telling me he's going to win based on the circumstances. I also think it's cool if he does win. He then sets the record for the youngest actor of all time to win an Academy Award.
Oh, that would be cool.
No. And not even it's years apart. He will be 2 weeks younger than Adrian Brody when he won for The Pianist. Which is a crazy, full circle moment of the situation.
Wild. That would be wild.
And so, based on that,
Maybe you should win then.
the stars align, and he wins.
Let's go,
I think it would be
Chalamet.
incredible. So that's two of, I think, probably polarizing picks and stuff here. I'm just I'm blanking on this, but her name is Caroline Fargay for The Substance. Her winning best director.
You think so?
Maybe they throw her one. Like that would be. I'm just saying, like in terms of a pick that would like blow
That would be
everybody out the
wild.
water.
Yeah, I think that
would be
honestly,
very surprising.
And honestly,
based on how surprised
if that
Demi Moore
happened-
was for winning a Golden Globe.
hey, I wouldn't. You know what? If that happened,
Crazy.
I think everybody would just go,
Okay.
yeah. They'd just
enough.
nod. They'd be like,
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Go off.
Glad thing we didn't give it to Emilia Perez. As long as they don't give it to them, I'm happy.
I'm happy.
Anybody
I'm a
else in the
happy camper.
category can win. I don't care. Just not them. That would be like a pretty crazy one. I think another crazy one as we move into the next one is I'm Still Here for winning for Best Picture. I don't necessarily think it will. I think there's other films that like you just have to give it to. Like if they don't give it to Dune, they have to give it to The Brutalist. If they don't give it to The Brutalist, they have to give it to Conclave. Like
What do you think? What's your bet for Best Picture?
I'm going with my safe bet's The Brutalist.
That's your safe bet.
My safe bet's The Brutalist. My true gut, I want it. I want all my money on it. Is Dune.
I don't think Dune will win.
I don't think it's gonna win.
No, but I think
want
the
it to
Brutalist.
win so badly though.
I think the
is the
Brutalist
safe
will.
bet.
I think the Brutalist will get it.
I think The Brutalist is gonna win 4 to 5 in total.
Yeah.
It's got 9 nominations, so it's like it's not impossible for it to happen. But
Yeah.
also, the fact that we talked about this before that Dune wasn't nominated for Best Original Score.
Which because
Because
they
it's not
used too much of
original
the
enough.
Dune first
But
Dune.
it did get nominated for a Grammy, so that's all that matters. Hans Zimmer is nominated for a Grammy for that. So
Hans
that's
Zimmer's
all.
got enough of
Honestly,
those.
that makes me happy.
Yeah.
And as we finish it off, the animated feature,
All right.
Wild Robot.
What was the one that didn't get added to that category? Which everybody's surprised. Moana 2's not in there, is it?
Moana 2's not in there.
No. Surprising.
It's interesting because it seems like people are kind of leaning towards Wallace and Gromit actually being the like favorite. But I would like to see. I think the Wild Robot didn't get enough recognition for how good the film was.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful film.
But it also didn't win in the category at the Golden Globes, and I think it was better than Flow.
I'm also surprised they didn't add Transformers 1.
There was a lot of people saying that like Transformers not getting nominated was.
It was. I didn't see all of it
Yeah.
because I was just thinking, oh, it's another Transformers film.
Yeah.
But then once I started, like, Chase showed me some clips. It's
good,
pretty
yeah.
funny. It's funny. It's good. And like, I'm actually like, maybe it should have. Maybe it should have got nommed.
So I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, I feel like there's a few contenders in that category as well. I mean, animated stuff is not like mainly what we talk about all the time, but it's also. I think the Wild Robot should have been nominated for more things. Like it's hard to nominate it. You can't nominate something like that for best lead actor, It's not those categories, but it didn't even get nominated for score. It didn't get nominated for song. Like it missed out. I feel like it was a much better film than they're giving
But
it.
it was very well done. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it wins.
That'd be good. That'd be another good one.
That'd be nice.
Hopefully, we'll see. But this got pushed back because there's delays and stuff. They did push it back a little bit because of the fires.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
March 2nd is the Academy Awards. That's the official date and everything now.
Yep.
Is March 2nd. When was it? Was it like a week prior to that, or
Yeah,
a
I think
couple weeks
so.
prior to that?
Yeah.
But they moved it because of the fires and stuff, which is understandable. Of
course.
So,
Be safe.
yeah, I feel like that's a pretty deep like podcast episode in terms of I think there's a lot, and we want to know what your thoughts and stuff are in the comments as well.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think of
Let us
our
know.
choices and stuff.
Yep. Your snubs.
Your snubs.
What you think?
But also just like in general, were the nominations and stuff fair this year? Would there are there things that we missed? Like I'm sure there's, especially with the animated category, that we're not, like I'm not especially as well versed on. I'm sure there's maybe like 4 or 5 other films that probably deserve to be in there that
Yes.
got snubbed.
I agree.
But yeah, that was Real Talk Podcast episode 9.
9.
So close to 10.
Almost.
So close.
Almost.
9 very, very fun
It
episodes.
feels just around the corner.
So soon. So soon. So soon. I can almost feel it.
Yeah.
So much drama in episode 10 as well. Stay tuned for episode 10. We're talking everything to do with the Blake Lively It Ends With Us saga versus Justin Baldoni and Ryan Reynolds, who is now the reason that this has all happened. So we're going to get into that. I don't know if you heard anything about that, all the drama that just unfolded like a couple days ago with that whole situation. But thank you guys all again for listening, watching, and being part of the podcast. I'm Sander,
I'm Nason.
and we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys. Thanks.
Peace.